Okay. Welcome everybody to the George Mokwena show live. This is the show where I pick a couple of things that I've seen within football, our local football, the past week, and I speak about them. And I think this episode is going to be very centered around something that is happening between Mamelodi Sundowns and TS Galaxy. But I want to link it to bigger things. For those who are watching for the first time, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel and watching some of the other content that I've dropped, as well as supporting me, because I have a live show, another live show that I do in the evenings, Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. That airs on TikTok and on YouTube, where you can go out and watch as I speak to the public. So everybody who jumps into my show has the chance to have a moment or two to come in and give their comments about whatever topic we're speaking about. It's not just game reviews. It's not just talking about what happened last night or all of those type of things. We speak about really big topics. Ownership of stadiums. We've spoken about agents and their roles in players' lives. We've spoken about a lot of things where we as fans get to speak. So please join me on that front as well when you can. Now, this is the topic that I want to discuss today. I want to start off by speaking about Coach Rulani Mokoena versus Coach Sid Ramovic. The El Presico, the press conference derby. The thing that has been brewing for months and months and months, ever since these two met in the Carling knockout all the way back when Rulani said that, you know, his players had been out, they're not given enough time to come back. I believe bafana had played 2 days before this game was scheduled to be played, so there was a lot of players that he couldn't get. Sid Ramovic took it a certain way, and then it evolved and devolved into this incredible feud that we're watching break out in the PSL. And all I will say is, I love it. I love all of it. I love the fact that we're watching two teams or two coaches that are showing that they don't like each other. And they're showing it in the quality of the type of games that they're going to play. I love the fact that on a Tuesday evening, I sat up and I watched a TS Galaxy versus a Mamelodi Sundowns game that was more entertaining than, I would say, 90-95% of the games that we've watched in the league so far. I love the fact that we know how colorful Coach Rulani is. We know how he is in press conferences. We know that he takes shots. We know how he talks. I love that there's somebody who came in and said, nah. I need to step up to this plate too. I need to make sure that I protect my interests and my team. I need to show, dare I say it, a little bit of pride. I love Coach Rulani. I love the things that he says. I love the shots that he takes. I love the understanding that he has for PR, for the media. I love it so much. So when somebody else can come in and be toe-to-toe with him in a press conference setting, I love it. The only thing that I dislike about these conversations and where they've gone is that it feels like now us who are on the outside are fueling and adding things that shouldn't be added to these conversations. We are adding things about racism, we're adding things about xenophobia, we're adding all of these different things. Instead of taking it for what it is, it's a feud. Lots of coaches don't like each other. Lots of players don't like each other. Lots of teams can't stand each other. And if it plays out on the pitch, and we get to see them playing at a high level, and we get to see them add a little bit more fight to these games, I love it. When you see the teams go toe-to-toe afterwards and they're looking at each other and you can tell that there's bad blood, for me, I love it. Because our league is lacking so much of those things. Most of us don't know how some of our coaches sound even. Can you tell me John Maduka's voice just off of the power, just in there from your memory? Some of these players, when you watch some of the PSL games and you see that they're playing for nothing. Now I watch Puso Ditejane, I watch Bomujela and those type of players playing. To the point where Mamelodi Sundowns, as superior as they've been in the league, had to wake up at the end of the game. A Mamelodi Sundowns team that has walked this league, that has broken all the records, that has done everything that is right for them to do as Mamelodi Sundowns. The past few weeks, they haven't been playing. The past few weeks, they've been showing up and honoring fixtures, to their credit, because they've done the work. But to their detriment, because there hasn't been teams that are able to come in and step up and take on the Brazilians. But we saw them watch TS Galaxy celebrate like crazy. Watch them go out and jump into fans and do circles in their celebrations and go overboard. And we watched the Mamelodi Sundowns go, oh, okay. This is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing now. Oh, let me show you, let us show you why we are the champions. And we saw them wake up and play some scintillating football for the next 10, 15 minutes. This is what you want from a league. This is what people pay money to go see. This is why Coach Ramovic, there's always cameras on Rulani. This is why there's always excitement for Sundowns games and what is he's going to say in the press conference before and after. What is he going to say in his comments after the game? This is what makes football exciting. Let's be honest. A lot of the time, we're not watching football because of the amazing quality. You don't watch how many games? We don't watch all of the 570, if I'm not mistaken, 570 games over there in England. Or however many. The maths might be off there. But we don't watch them all and carve our excitement because we've watched all the games. It's the little storylines in between. Oh, is Arteta going to beat Pep? Pep and Klopp have a rivalry. They don't necessarily get along. This coach and that coach, Pochettino, how's he going to handle Chelsea? What happens when he goes back to Tottenham? Tottenham, you're playing Man City before Arsenal. How are you guys going to handle that game knowing your rivalry? These are the things that get us excited. And I understand that this is only one facet of those things, but this shows you what this can do. You know, guys, the last TS Galaxy Sundowns game was upgraded from a category D to a B. All because of this feud. For a whole year, guys, this thing started early Carling knockout. First game, Carling knockout. And then we've been stoking this fire and watching this thing build up until this point right now. Me, I love it. I love it. And I want to see more of it. I want to see more colorful coaches. I want to see more guys coming out and actually standing behind their team. I want to see more coaches coming out and not allowing themselves to be punked. I want to see Sundowns challenged. It may not always be a win, but it will make it so much more incredible to watch. I can assure you that there's TS Galaxy fans that feel stronger about TS Galaxy over the past 2 days than they have over the past few years. I'm sure of it. This is what we need. This is what we need in our league. This is what we need in our football. It can get ugly, sure, but for the most part, this is what we need. But it raises a very important point as we get on to the second topic. What stands out to me when we watch games like this, what stands out to me is that these teams are capable of giving us these type of performances. These teams are capable of coming out and playing good football, committed football. They're capable of coming out and making a plan. You could tell yesterday or when the game was played that TS Galaxy had a plan for Mamelodi Sundowns. And because there was bad blood, that plan wasn't low block and inshallah. That plan was literally, hey, we need to go win and beat these guys. Even if it's because our coaches are the ones beefing, and that is what's giving us extra motivation. They walked out onto that pitch and they were able to give Mamelodi Sundowns a game. You're not going to win all the games. But we can't deny that there was a game that was played that excited us. So why TS Galaxy? Why TS Galaxy? Can you not give us these type of games for 25 games in the season? Why can't you come out on a random Tuesday on the 21st of February and come out and give us a performance akin to what you have shown us here? Give us a performance where we can tell that you guys have planned and prepared and you're playing. Why can't we see this when you're playing Chippa United? When you're playing Richards Bay? And the reason why I want to expand it is that it's not just a TS Galaxy. I remember expressing the same thought when we watched Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates play to one of the most exciting 3-2 draw games that I've ever seen when it comes to a derby, at least recently. We saw tactics, we saw coaches adapting, we saw players coming out and showing heart, we saw finishing, we saw every single thing you would want from a PSL game, from a derby. But yet a couple of games later, you watch them play against another team and they're nowhere to be seen. You know, we watched Kaizer Chiefs have a transitional game versus Pirates, an actual proper planned transitional game. You could see the role that Ntansane had to play. You could see the role that Dupreez had to play. You could see how they had to defend some things. We look at Pirates, you could see the overloads on the wings. You could see that they accounted for Reef Frostler and having somebody else, and maybe we need to go help Mfukeng to allow Hotto to run. You could see all of those things and analyze it. Yet you watch the last few games that Kaizer Chiefs has played, for example, you don't see it. And we have to wait for big moments. Oh, I'm going to go play Sundowns today. Oh, I'm going to go play Chiefs today. The cameras are going to be on me. The lights are going to be bright. Oh, I'm going into a derby versus Pirates. It's a grudge match. It's historical. We can't afford to lose this game, no matter how good we are or bad we are. Our Pirates going into cup games, do or die into their cup games. Do or die, killing teams. But when you expect the same things to happen in the league, they're nowhere to be found. To give Mamelodi Sundowns credit, they're the only team in the league that takes game 1 and game 28 or 30 as seriously as game 1, as seriously as the Champions League. You see them show up. You can analyze their games. You can see the patterns of plays. You can see the things they're repeating. You can point to some of the glaring things that they do wrong because you're watching a team that has a structure. You know how difficult it is to analyze some of these PSL games. But no, play Sundowns. Because your teams are feuding. Play Chiefs because they're a big team. Play Pirates because they're... Oh, all of a sudden people are waking up. But because they don't wake up enough, we watch Mamelodi Sundowns win the league by 22 points. After winning the league the year before by 13 points. 9 before that. It was 22 this year, 16 last year. I believe it was 13 the year before, and 9, I believe it was before after Middendorp. So the gap has gotten bigger. But every now and then they slip. They slip and they let us know that, oh, actually guys, Salazi Paul. Oh, actually, guys, we can go toe-to-toe. And that is why I say, if beef is giving us this football, can we get more beef? Because genuinely, it feels like everybody in the league is just there to hold they're placeholders. They're just there to come in, You're pancha 9 o'clock, you leave at 5, you're pancha whenever you gym, you're pancha when you have to go play games and come out. You punch in and punch out. You don't even do anything extra. Oh, we lost the game. I had an interview with coach Vilakazi, and he was saying that, you know, you'll watch players who are in the relegation zone lose a game and just go home and just not care, or go drinking, or go partying. Salaries deposited, who cares? In the words of Coach Rulani, who cares? Then they wonder why there's no fans at the stadiums. They wonder why we don't necessarily care too much about the local game. They wonder why we have an apathy towards South African football. And it'd be one thing if well and truly the quality was not there. Well and truly these players knew nothing. But it's games like these that remind us once more that if they wanted to, they would. That speech that Coach Ramovich gave at the end of the game, where he was speaking about, no, guys, you know, this is what I wanted to see, the quality, the what, that impassioned speech that he was giving. If he has that speech, if he has that energy, 3 or 4 more games, he could be sitting number 2 right now. These guys don't realize that, you know, this is an entertainment sport. This is somewhere where we go to escape and we go to watch these guys play football. I'm not going there to go watch a guy play for 60 minutes, to go watch a guy not know how to tap a ball, to go watch a guy not know how to make decisions. And I need more of this. Personally, I don't know about you guys, but I need a whole lot more of this in my life when I'm watching EPSL. I need these teams to be motivated. I need these teams to play. I need these teams not to hide. I don't mind coaches coming out and speaking positively about their teams, speaking confidently about their teams. I don't mind them putting their necks out there. Because what we've been watching is people who are hiding behind Sundowns. Oh, they've got so much quality. How do we compete? When I watch them on the pitch, they're doing things that I've never seen before. How am I supposed to go out when I'm not spending? Nagu, nidlalile. For a team that you meet twice, 3 times. TS Galaxy and Sundowns have met 3 times. I believe Sid Ramovich has given us more energy in those 3 games than we've gotten for the whole season. The players have given us better performances in those 3 games. From the 2-2 that they played to the 3-0 that Sundowns beat them to now this draw that they played now, this 1-1 draw. They've given us more than they've given us the whole season. And a big part of it, for me, is also the attitude of the owners, the chair people. Before I get into the real meat of what I want to speak about, I want to first start with Utim Sugazi's role in this whole beef. Chairpersons are meant to be the grown-ups. The owners are meant to be the grown-ups. The owners are meant to be the people who are keeping an even keel when these games are played. And you can even point to Sundowns for the example of this. Rulani said in the press conference that he was punished at some point, that he said some things that he got into trouble for. That's level-headed leadership. I don't need to be out in the media and the press. I don't know how many times you see Tlopi, I don't say how many times you see Tlopi out on the pitch doing all the stuff. And I don't mind it per se. But when now you have the responsibility of going out into media and speaking, you are a chairperson. This fighting that is happening between Rulani and Ramovich, at some point the 2 chair people were meant to sit down and go, guys, we can't have this. Not going out and fanning fires. not going out and making things worse, not going out and looking for a quote. Maybe your coach can do it, maybe your players can do it, but it can't be chair people as well jumping in and behaving like this and egging on fights and doing all of that stuff. If you have a problem as a chairperson, you also have recourse. You can go to the league and be like, guys, I'm laying formal complaints, and I'm glad they've taken this thing to court. If they feel so strongly about it, I'm glad they took it to court. But it didn't need to get here from the chairperson's side. I just wanted to start with that before speaking about the actual motivations and where they start. What is leadership at a club? And how does the club define its culture? And how does the club go forward? When you look at the club that is now currently number 1 in the league and one of the top teams in Africa, you could hear it from leadership. That Motsepe said, I want this team to go out and I need this team to go win. And I want this team to be top of Africa. Not winning the league only, not winning domestic trophies. I want to be the number 1 team in Africa. And he's backed that up. Where he finds a gem, where he finds a coach, where he finds something good, he makes sure that he keeps it. So if that is the prototype that we're working on, if that's the example that we're working on, how does it hit you when Utim Sugazi is asked about Uramovic and Chiefs? And he comes out and he says, I think this coach would be great for Chiefs. Almost selling him to there. How does that ripple through a club? That you've got this coach who you backed, you spoke about his UEFA Pro licenses and all of that stuff, you were behind him all the way, rumors arise, and instead of shutting them down and letting everybody know that, guys, Coach Ramovic is not going anywhere. In fact, we're going to back Coach Ramovic even more. We're going to back him. This guy is going to take me and put me where Chiefs is, commercially. Put me where Stellenbosch are in terms of the league. He comes out and says, no, actually, sounded like you were saying it was a good idea. And what does that say about your leadership? What does it say about the club when players like Abu Mujela come out straight and say, I want to go play for Sundowns? And yes, it might be a goal of yours, true. But publicly say that. Knowing that you guys are giving us half performances on the pitch. And it's a situation where we have to wait for a serious team to come in and take you so that you can be serious. Where our team Sugazi, instead of saying we want TS Galaxy to be where Sundowns is, he goes, hey man, take the coach. What type of lessons are we imparting? What type of cultures are we building? He runs onto the pitch like a fan. He's in the media talking recklessly. He's endorsing moves. Is this not why our league is in the shape that it's in? And again, I don't want to just use him as the example. I don't want to just point at him. Sorry, I don't want to just point at him. But I'm using him as an example. Last night on my show, somebody came in and they said, you know, Sundowns is killing the league and Sundowns is buying every player that is important to another team, and that's destabilizing these teams and it's unfair. But the context we forget whenever we speak about these things is that you have chairpersons, you have technical directors, you have CEOs, you have all these people, coaches, who go, okay, let him go. Who are happy to get that payment from Mamelodi Sundowns. Who are happy to be destabilized by Mamelodi Sundowns. Coach Sid Ramovic has been building for three years, I believe, at TS Galaxy. Now there's hem-hems about Chiefs, and it's okay. Let him go. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think a strong Kaizer Chiefs is good for the league. and this coach could be great at Kaizer Chiefs. Hey man, isn't he great for your team? It's these type of things that I feel fuel why the league is so down. It's these people who now Sundowns. 9-9, he says it. What can Tim say to Umujela about him not going to Sundowns? What is the pitch you give him? We had this discussion in the group and somebody said, you know, some teams are selling teams. And I was like, okay, why are they selling teams? We did a breakdown. Well, John Committees came out and said it costs about 60 to 80 million rand to run a club. The league gives you around 25 to 30 million every year. It's rumored to be going up to 4 million a month next year. So that's a good 48 million. That takes care of a lot of your basic things, or should take care of a lot of your basic things. You get a sponsor or two, and you can move up and cover a lot of your problems that you have, right? And winning and moving up and doing those things is a very important part of making your team attractive to sponsors. And these owners complain all the time. Yet when they have a good thing, they're willing to let go of it to get that quick buck. Jiki 3 years later, team yako is looking a certain way. Now Mamkize was once flying high, number 3. Now number 14. Are they motivated to go win? Should John Maruka had been moved on a long time before it got to that point? Are you bringing in the right people? Are you bringing in the right quality? Are you moving? These are the questions that I have for these owners that we have. And I know the jumping point was from Sukazi saying those words, Tim Sukazi saying those words, but it really didn't sit well with me. I watched an interview by Chipampengesi when he went to Robert Marawa. And they were speaking about Uchain. And they were saying that Uchain was a third choice goalkeeper, and Pirates came knocking, wanting Uchain, right? And Ubab Chipa says that he spoke to Dane Clayton, who was the coach at the time, and Dane Clayton was like, nah, I don't necessarily have a use for him. He's your third choice. And Ubab Chipa was like, let me take this boy and take him to Pirates, where he went on to become one of the starters. What didn't sit well with me was if I was in the same shoes and Sundowns, I have a team, I am mid-table, lower mid-table, and Sundowns came knocking for my third choice keeper. My first thought wouldn't be, how much can we get? Let's go and run. My first thought would be, hang on. There's something here that we're not seeing. You know what? We're going to hold on to him. Let's see what it is. Let's find out what makes him so special that a team up there would want him, knowing that he's not even getting game time here. What is it that makes him so special? And is it something that we can use for our club or cash out properly? The other part of things that I have, the problems I have with our owners is Sundowns really the only place where you can sell one of your good players? Is Sundowns really the only place where your player will be valuable? Can you not look for other opportunities, knowing that if one of the top teams in Africa is knocking, can't I man sell him somewhere else? Knowing that if one of the bigger teams in South Africa, Pirates, is coming in and saying they want this player, can't I go look for other opportunities for these players elsewhere where I could possibly make more money? What are these owners in it for, and what are they doing? And is it the best? I will say, I say this weekly. We fans want more for our clubs than a lot of our owners want for our clubs. We fans want a lot more good for our clubs than a lot of our owners want for us and the club. And you see it in these type of things. But anyway, guys, not to be too long, let me go to the last topic. It's going to tie into the first two. Why is it that South Africans, we struggle with outspoken coaches? Myself included. I've said some things about Hugo Bruce, about him speaking outside in media and him being careful. And it wasn't necessarily about being outspoken, but he was being unfair to some of the people he was speaking about because he was bringing drama to their doors. But anyway, we look at how Hugo Bruce has been received when he said certain things. We look at how Rulani is treated. They say he's arrogant. They say he's too big for his boots. We criticize him every day because he has the balls to come out and say that he has high standards, for example. We've spoken about Abu Morgan Mamila coming out and being outspoken, and we know the pound for pound comments are always brought up. We know whenever he says something, people always call him stupid or different things that they say. Is it really that big of a deal that these coaches are outspoken? Or is it maybe a trauma response? That we've watched such a poor league for such a long time that when somebody has the balls to speak up, even if they're coaching Chippa United, we want to bring them back down and say, not you. Not you. You can't speak. Is it that thing that now we find that teams are preferring these quiet coaches that color within the lines, that aren't necessarily the best guys, but they're just there, man. They're just there. You know, when I'm doing my show, I like to watch press conferences. But it's funny, you'll only find press conferences for Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns games. So I don't know what Sid Ramovich said 2 weeks ago when he was playing a different team. I don't know how to categorize him. And while he gets loud at times, there's a lot of coaches that go under the radar because they're just quiet. We just don't watch them. We don't care too much about them. But the moment they do speak, we're out here. No, how dare you do this? How dare you do that? And what I really want to speak about here is the smaller coaches. I've been speaking to a lot of people from that Sundowns game. The following day, we had a breakdown of the thing. We spoke about it in the WhatsApp group. And I get the sense that Rulani is given the leeway to be that person where we overlook a lot of the things that he's said. And is it because he's the Sundowns coach and he coaches one of the bigger teams that we live with it? Whereas you have Abu Ramovich, when they speak out, we're so quick to jump out the window to tell them to shut up and you're stupid and what. I'll give you an example. TS Galaxy is taking Rulani to court right now. They're taking him to court because he came out into the media, and again, allegedly, came out to the media and he said he has it on good authority. He has somebody within the TS Galaxy camp, allegedly, that told him Sid Ramovich used, in his speech before the game, he was using the Bernard Parker injury to fire up the players to go and injure someone from Sundowns. What's interesting is that that story was almost taken as fact. And I think the reason why Ramovich and TS Galaxy are trying to take Rulani to court about this is that it's defamation of character, but also look at what everybody believes after you said that thing outside. Everybody believes you. Yet, when Sid Ramovich was asked about Rulani, and after Rulani had said that he makes the calls and, he handles things straight up, Ramovich was like, he called me and I was on the pass and he said a bunch of things, including, how do you come to this country and do that? This is my country. Do you know who you are dealing with? all of that stuff. And that story died. Are we picking and choosing who we believe in these things based on, not necessarily on whether they're trustworthy, but based on the positions they hold? So Morgan Mamila coming out and saying, I want to go pound for pound, is different to Jose Rivero coming out and saying that he wants to go play. We see Jose Rivero honestly disrespecting media a lot in the ways that he speaks to them, in some of the things he says. But we kind of look past it and we're like, nah, that's fine. But the moment Sid Ramovic or any other people speak a certain way, we're on them quickly. Is it a thing that we have in SA that if you don't play for a certain team or you're not seen to be of a certain caliber, we don't want to hear anything from you? And we believe whatever's said the other way. I spoke to so many Sundowns fans in this Ramovic conversation. You can see it on my YouTube, it's there. Where they were saying, Ramovic was disrespectful and he says it and he says this, but they don't speak anything about the things that Rulani had said. To the point where the conversation went into a racism conversation and that conversation, nobody said xenophobia. Nobody said anything about what Rulani had to do with these things. Even when we speak about the topic, Coach Rulani and Coach Ramovic didn't start what happened on the game. The physicality came when that guy from Mamelodi Sundowns went up to Ramovic and tried to, rough him up, exert his authority. Now we're all speaking about how Ramovic is disrespectful and is this and is that and all of that stuff. And also, are we soft, man? Are we soft as South Africans? Every time somebody says something that can get under your nerves somewhere, you can interpret it away, it must be up in arms every day. They keep saying things in press conferences, but we come off and we are angry. Why did he say this? How dare he say this? All of that stuff. Are we soft? And is it maybe that we can't handle helicopters? We can't handle criticism like that. We can't handle personalities like that. We can't bear to believe that maybe somebody is confident in whatever they want to do. And we keep putting up with some of these coaches that we have in the league solely because they're quiet, under the radar, hiding. Bruce says something, we go off board. And I'm including myself here because I've said some things about coaches speaking. Bruce said something and we go overboard with it. No, how dare he? Who does he think he is? Yeah, what? Apologies. Rulani says something. How dare he? Yeah. Is it maybe just, man, our footballing culture has become a place where we just want soft coaches and soft players who don't say anything, who don't show passion, who don't show a want to go and win games, who don't want to step out of line, who don't want to do all of those things, and we're just happy. We're just happy with that. Your team loses, they just walk off the pitch, nobody makes a noise, they're just happy. We watched another 0-0 draw where both teams didn't do anything and it's just, because there's no commotion, we're fine with it. I really think we need to relook at what we feel is a coach, what we feel is PR, is marketing, what we feel is some of these things. And some of us just need to stop being soft and defensive over nothing. It's two coaches feuding, guys. It gave us a great game. They're not going to see each other again until next season. They see each other 3 times. Does it really matter that much? When a coach comes out and says some things, does it really matter that much? Or can we use that as a passion, as a point to come in and say some stuff? Morgan Mamila saying, I want to go pound for pound with Mamelodi Sundowns shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing. That's a coach saying that, no, I don't want to sit down and let this team trample all over me. I want to actually fight and show that we are actually there, guys. We're a team. We train, we practice. I have players, we have plans, I have licenses. We can actually challenge these people. Why is that such a bad thing? Why is the expectation that Umogen Mamila must keep quiet? Sid Ramovic must keep quiet and know his role. Look at what happened Tuesday night. They played hard. Back and forth. They had chances. They had everything. Versus Mamelodi Sundowns. Are we just not, man? We're too safe and conservative. We want everybody to be conservative unless they play for Sundowns, unless they're coaching Sundowns, unless they're coaching Pirates. Maybe that's why these teams know that I can bring in Kaitano Tembo every day of the week. I can bring in John Maduka every day of the week. They might not win me anything. But there'll be no focus on my team and how badly they're doing. There should be outcry for the way these teams are playing. But we're content with it. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to speak about those three things. All in all, I love the beef. I love the outspokenness. I love that teams are motivated when they got on. Those two teams are motivated when they got onto the pitch. I love that TS Galaxy over celebrated and Sundowns was like, oh, you guys are doing too much now. We're going to put you in the place. I love all of that. We need much more of those type of things. Tired of watching bland games. Tired of watching bland games. Doesn't always have to be beef that motivates, but our teams need to figure out how to show up for games that are not glamorous, for games where there's no beef, for games where there's no nothing, because now we know that they can play. Now we know they can play. Now we know TS Galaxy is capable of putting in an incredible performance. Now we know. Now we know that they can plan. Now we know that they can do all of those things. Sundowns is 30 games, almost 30 games. They're going to be 30 games unbeaten in this season, 53 games all in all. Because they take every game seriously. These ones now, I don't want to hear any quality conversations. I don't want to hear people saying, but how are you meant to play? Other teams don't have money. No, they were able to find some way to play versus Mamelodi Sundowns on Tuesday. Chiefs was able to find some way to play versus Pirates in the derby. So I don't want to hear any more arguments about any of that stuff. I now demand it every single day that they go out and they give us those performances every single day. If you're running fast versus Libusa and you're giving Libusa problems, if you're giving people problems and outplaying certain people in certain positions, I want you to do it versus Amazulu, Skukune, any of those teams. Because now we know that there's something you guys are doing there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please support the content. I have other videos that I've put up, including one that I did speaking about the financial fair play rule and how that's not going to help the league one bit. If people think that will stop Mamelodi Sundowns, it's actually going to make things worse for a lot more teams before it even gets to Mamelodi Sundowns. So I have a in-depth breakdown as to why it's not going to work, that thing. So please go and watch that stuff. I have other live shows. The live shows are available on YouTube. You can go out and watch those things as well. And yeah, there's a wealth of content. So please subscribe. If you have not subscribed, I have a WhatsApp group where we discuss these things back and forth, and that's where I go back and forth with a little bit more time and freedom because of we have a bit of constraints sometimes when we're live on these things. The WhatsApp group is a great place for us to meet, go back and forth, banter, learn, teach each other. It's an incredible place. Click on subscribe, click on join, and the WhatsApp group link is going to be in the members area. We're growing every single day, and I really do thank you for supporting me and my platform that we're trying to build over here. There's not many places where us fans can be fans. It's usually, former coaches, former players. It's usually analysts and those type of people who are speaking. We don't have many places where we can be free. Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m., you can join me and we can be free to bring our own thoughts and conversations into football and actually engage with other people. I think that's what's missing, and I provide that on my platform. So please join me there too. I'll be live tonight at 7 p.m. I'll see you then at 7 p.m. Bye, guys.